Alrighty folks, this is going to be a fairly short lesson today on the cosine law, which, just like the sine law, is given to you on your formula sheets, by the way, so you don't need to memorize it. Sorry, stuttering. So there it is there in front of you, and obviously A, B, and C are just side lengths, and A is the angle opposite of side A, and it should look pretty familiar because it looks very similar to the Pythagorean theorem. And the reason why it looks like that is because it is, sort of. Okay, and actually, if you look at a triangle with a 90-degree angle on it, like that one there, and you were to substitute in cosine 90 degrees right there, you'll see that the cosine of 90 is actually 0. So this cancels out right to 0, leaving you with the Pythagorean theorem. I mean, Pythagorean theorem usually is written in terms of C being the hypotenuse, but it doesn't really matter. Okay? Okay, so we use the cosine law when we're in a side angle side situation. That is where you know two sides and the angle between them. So side angle sides, the angle is like the meat in a sandwich. I know the sides on both sides of it. And in a side situation where you know all three sides but not one of the angles. Okay, and you can use cosine law for both of those. So looking at the first example on the right, on the left, pardon me, the side angle side one. Now there's no ambiguous case with the cosine law, which is good news for everybody. But there is a little trick you have to remember. So looking first at the triangle here on the left, okay, we're going to use cosine law to find the opposite sides. Let's just throw some labels on these points here. Okay, and that means that we're going to try to find side A first because I know what B is. B is 13, and I know what C is. C is 11, and I know cosine A. Well, angle A is 40 degrees. I can find out cosine A on my own. Okay, so I'm going to type out that, or write out that equation here. All right, so there is the cosine law all written out with all the bits substituted in it. So it's really just a matter of plugging those into your calculator. You can do it all at once and get what a squared equals. Okay, so a squared equals 70.9. And so obviously then we're just going to take the square root of that, which means a equals 8.4. And hopefully you won't hear any more belches from my son. Cross your fingers. Okay, now solving the rest of the triangle here, we have two choices. We can either find angle B or angle C. Okay, now in this case, this is the trick to it here. Okay, in a side angle side case where you have to find one of the remaining angles, I'm going to tell you you want to find the smaller angle first. Okay, if you find the larger angle, you may end up with an ambiguous case that's going to give you the wrong angle. Okay, so always find the smallest angle first for a side angle side triangle. Okay, so again, for side angle side, you're going to find the smallest angle first. In this case, it's going to be angle C. And how I know it's the smallest angle? Because angle B is across from 13, okay, and 13 is bigger than 11, which means angle B is bigger than angle C. So I'm going to use sine law to find angle C. So like sine 40 over 8.4 equals sine C over 11. I'm not going to do that for you, but you can imagine that's how it would work out. Okay, for the other triangle, we're going to use, it's a side situation. We know all three sides. You have to find one of the angles first using cosine law. Find the largest one first, because again, there's no ambiguous case with the cosine law, only with the sine law. So the last time we tried to find an angle, we had to use sine law. Now we're going to use cosine law, so I want to find the largest one, because there's no ambiguous case. So again, the largest side, or the largest angle is the one opposite the largest side. So in this example here, 18 is my largest side, so this is my largest angle. So I'm going to use cosine law to find that. Okay, you don't have to use the letters the way that they were given to you in the formula. They're interchangeable. So long as it's always the same, relationship is in this side over here is opposite this angle that's written there. Everything else just kind of falls into place by process of elimination. In any case, there's the equation we're going to use. Let's fill it in. And then we're going to have to do a little bit of algebra and solve for cosine C. So figure out 15 squared plus 6 squared and then subtract it from both sides. And then you're going to divide by negative 2 times 15 times 6. Okay, let's look at the next video for a couple of examples.